Welcome back to the TD Ameritrade Network. Let's talk some currencies and the latest developments across the pond. Another incident or development or postponement. I don't know, Scott Bauer. Theresa May and Brexit. Once again, we don't really have a lot of conclusion. And the pound, I think, had a pretty interesting move, right? It's like a big rally into her speech and then pretty much gave it up.
Yeah, buy the rumor, sell the news. And by the way, a big swing and a miss. I'm glad you're talking about Theresa May and not my beloved Cubbies, who haven't started off so well. That being said, yeah, very interesting move. And again, I think it was a real buy the rumor, sell the news. And you know, this thing is just going to be dragging on for quite a while here. I mean, it certainly seems like everybody wants to have some sort of resolution, but they can't get to what that right resolution is. And I just see vote after vote continuing, Oliver, until they can get to something.
Yeah.
And the market doesn't like uncertainty. The market doesn't want to see situations like this drag on.
It's a lot of, you know, it's hard to keep track of, and I'm by far, you know, not an expert here, Scott, but basically she said, look, we need to talk with labor and we need to try and figure out something that's going to work. You know, the plan that just got rejected, you know, part of it is going to, you know, be in that withdrawal agreement, and, you know, the hardcore Brexiteers just absolutely hate it. So it seems like, from my limited understanding, that things are not really progressing in a very discernible way. Why then does the pound show this kind of volatility? You know, what's with this like hope trade that happened in the day? Haven't we learned a lesson?
I mean, fool me once. What is that saying? Fool me once. It's your fault. Fool me twice. It's my fault. You know, they keep going to the well with this thing, and yet, like you said, it's very surprising. The pound keeps hanging in there, almost like they're you know, it's expecting to have some overnight resolution or some magical resolution. I really don't get it.
So, do you want to trade it? Do you look at a pop like what happened intraday today, going into the speech, and just fade that thing as soon as you see it rally?
Absolutely, and that is not based on me knowing more than the next guy or knowing what's going to happen next. It's really just based on a pattern of what's happened here over the last few weeks and few months here, and a very short-term trading pattern. For something longer term, Oliver, I want to stay away from it, but I'm going to try and take advantage of these quick moves that we've seen happen repeatedly in the past near future here.
Yeah. All right, Scott, let's have some fun, okay? Because when you're here, and we got to talk some Bitcoin futures. This morning we woke up to a pump, a good old classic Bitcoin rally, 15%. What'd you think from a trading perspective? You know, did you have anything at play here? Did you jump on the opportunity or what?
No, because I'm still in just many of the altcoins, which actually did pretty well on this move as well.
Yeah.
That being said, you know, I tried to really dive into, like you did and many other people did, to what was behind this. And there were some April Fool's jokes out there saying, one of them was that, you know, some of the big funds got wind that you know, an ETF was going to be passed soon.
Right,
and that's not really the case. Another one that... Yeah, another one I saw was that Warren Buffett finally changed his mind and he's getting into space. Obviously, that's not
what
true.
What is this? You know, what market moves on April Fool's jokes, man? Come on.
Exactly. But and you and I talk about the technical patterns in Bitcoin all the time and how they're very hard to really follow them because there's not still a ton of data. That being said, we have seen higher highs over the last 6 to 8 weeks or so, and we finally saw Bitcoin come up to a 150-day moving average, which it just kind of popped through, albeit on extremely, extremely low volume. But maybe that's what some of the bulls were hanging their hat on. And, you know, one of the articles that I read about this said that some algorithmic traders got in there, and when they started seeing this pattern, and once we hit that 150-day moving average, some of the buying programs really set in. And I think it was, what, 20 million contracts, if I'm not mistaken, 20 million Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, that were spread across almost evenly over 3 different Asian exchanges. So, you know, that tells me that it was, you know, probably one big algorithmic trader or just a couple algorithmic traders that were out there. That being said, look at the volume here at the CME today. Over 10,000 contracts. Huge. I mean, we've been averaging 1,500, 2,000 contracts for the last few weeks.
You know, to your point, one is that it has been kind of making, lower highs. It's been creeping upwards. We heard a sort of fundamental, case, not just for today, in fact, not for today, but just generally from this morning from the Delphi Digital team we had on, who said, look, they've been tracking some of the Bitcoin movements and say that they have reason to believe the, big holders are no longer dumping, and that there's not as much selling pressure. What do you get you excited from the trader's perspective to see either volatility that will sustain, that you can trade agnostic of direction, or that there's direction that you can trade on a momentum side? Is there anything that this changes?
Give me 2 or 3 weeks here to watch the market, and if Bitcoin can trade actually in a very consolidated range over the next couple weeks on decent volume, and when I say range, I'm looking probably 45 to that 5,000, much like we traded 3,500 to 4,000 for what seemed like forever. If we can hold, if Bitcoin can hold this range steadily over the next few weeks, that is going to give me some confidence and maybe a bit more of a compelling reason to believe in an upward move here. But we've seen this story before. We've been to this rodeo before. I just don't want to see, wow, this is a flash in the pan and it sells right back off.
All right, you fading it?
I'm not fading it yet.
Okay.
We'll see what happens here. I'm definitely not fading it yet, but I like the altcoin move that's been kind of hand in hand with the Bitcoin move.
All right, there we go. Scotty Bauer, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, joining us with a little crypto chat.